All right, we're going to do something a little different today. We're not breaking down a news article or some new research. Instead, we're diving into a formal legal complaint. And trust me, it's pretty dramatic. We're going to unpack the incredible claims one scientist is making against what he calls a global publishing network. And right out of the gate, you get hit with this. This is the kind of language that just stops you in your tracks. By using a phrase like professional genocide, the person who wrote this, Dr. Fayad, is making it crystal clear. To him, this isn't just a business deal gone wrong. This is an attack on his entire life's work. The stakes are set incredibly high from the very first page. So, just to be super clear, our goal here is simply to walk you through what's inside this official document. We're laying out the story and the accusations exactly as they're written, giving you a direct look into what is a really complex and, frankly, pretty wild legal battle. And here's how we're going to tackle it. We'll start with the main accusation. Then we'll look at who all the players are, the parties involved. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the allegations, see what the complainant is actually demanding, and then wrap up with the unbelievable reach of this document. Okay, first up, the accusation. At its heart, this is the story of one scientist and what he says was a complete and total betrayal. So the man at the center of all this is Professor Dr. Mohamed Ibrahim Fayad. The document makes a point to establish his credentials right away. He's a scientist, an innovator, and a professor of software engineering. The point is to show that this is a serious academic with a serious body of work. And the amount of intellectual property at the center of this dispute is just staggering. We're not talking about a single book or a couple of papers. The complaint is built around contracts to publish 66 different books. I mean, for a lot of people in academia, that's an entire career's worth of work. So if Dr. Fayad is the one making the complaint, who's he pointing the finger at? Let's get into the accused parties. This right here, this slide gets to the absolute heart of the alleged deception. On the surface, you have Steller Book Publishing, a company that looks totally legit, registered right in Florida. But according to the complaint, the reality was something else entirely. An international network that was actually operating out of Pakistan. And the complaint doesn't just name the publisher. No, it casts this incredibly wide net. It goes after specific people like Celine Carter and Felix Meyer. It names the alleged network in Pakistan. And it even pulls in huge distribution platforms like Amazon and the financial companies that were used to move the money around. And this is a perfect example of the alleged identity fraud. The complaint says that one of the main contacts, a guy who called himself Felix Meyer, a very Western-sounding name, was actually a person named Syed Shakib Akbar, a pretty critical detail in the story of deception. Okay, so this brings us to the core allegations themselves. And according to the document, this wasn't just a simple case of fraud. It was a complex, multi-step scheme. So here's how the scheme supposedly went down, step by step. First, they allegedly lured him in with all these big promises to get him to sign contracts. Then, they started extracting money from him for services they never actually delivered. Step 3, they did upload his books to major platforms. But, and this is the key part, the fourth and final step was allegedly diverting 100% of the sales money into their own private accounts. And as if that wasn't enough, the complaint throws in another layer. It alleges that the network also made these bogus promises about studies at San Jose State University. The idea, it seems, was to build up even more trust, to keep the scheme going. So, given all of these incredibly serious allegations, what does Dr. Fayad actually want to happen? Let's look at what he's demanding. And the demands are, well, they're huge. He's not just looking for a slap on the wrist. He wants full criminal accountability for everyone involved. He's asking for the government to step in and help get his money back. He wants to force giant platforms like Amazon to conduct audits. And, of course, he wants all the revenue from his books transferred to him. And again, we come back to this incredibly powerful language. He frames this whole thing as a moral crusade. It's not just business. It's a battle between the light of science and the darkness of demonic souls. It really shows you how personally he's taking this fight. All right, our final section. And this might be one of the most fascinating parts of the whole story. It's not just about what's in the complaint, but who it was sent to. See, this thing wasn't just quietly filed with a single court clerk. Oh no. This document was blasted out to this huge, influential list of people. He's clearly signaling that he wants this to be seen not just as a legal case, but as a major public issue. And this chart gives you a sense of the sheer scale. It didn't just go to lawyers and judges. Copies went to state and federal government officials, human rights groups, universities, you name it. It was a full-on press to get as many eyes on this as possible. And the specific names on the list are just remarkable. You're talking about the governor of California, U.S. members of Congress, the Federal Trade Commission, his own alma maters, even the Wikimedia Foundation. It's an absolutely extraordinary distribution list. So when you boil it all down, that's what we've been looking at. It's one academic's passionate, detailed, and incredibly wide-reaching accusation that his entire professional legacy was targeted by a sophisticated international plot. And this whole story, no matter how it turns out, really leaves us with a huge question for the world we live in now. When everything is global and digital, when your publisher is halfway around the world and your money moves through channels you can't even track, how can anyone, really, protect their life's work from threats they can't even see?